Expedition Number 1. Percy Fawcett's Lost City of Z, 1925. British explorer Colonel Percy Fawcett ventured into the Brazilian jungle, searching for an ancient lost city. He called it the City of Z. He, his son Jack, and friend Raleigh Raymell disappeared. Never seen again. But before he vanished, Fawcett had spent years in the Amazon. He claimed to have found evidence of sophisticated ancient civilization, stone structures, pottery, earthworks, evidence of large populations. At the time, archaeologists believed the Amazon couldn't support complex civilizations. The soil was too poor, the environment too hostile. Fawcett was dismissed as delusional, his reports ignored. Decades later, satellite imaging and modern archaeology proved Fawcett right. The Amazon contains extensive earthworks, geoglyphs visible only from above, evidence of populations in the millions, complex societies with advanced agriculture. Exactly what Fawcett claimed to find. But Fawcett reported something more. He described finding inscriptions in an unknown language, stone monuments with astronomical alignments, artifacts suggesting knowledge of metallurgy and engineering beyond what should exist in pre-Columbian America. His expedition notes mentioned discoveries he planned to reveal once he found the City of Z itself, discoveries so significant they would rewrite history. He never got the chance. Did Fawcett find an unknown civilization? Did he stumble on evidence too controversial to accept? Or did he simply disappear in the jungle, his claims unfounded? Recent expeditions have found new evidence: massive earthen structures, sophisticated water management systems, cities that once held thousands, all exactly where Fawcett said they would be. The City of Z may have been real, an advanced civilization that flourished in the Amazon, then disappeared. Fawcett found it, and it cost him everything. Expedition Number 2. Richard Byrd's Antarctic Discoveries. 1947. Admiral Richard Byrd led Operation High Jump, the largest Antarctic expedition in history. 13 ships, 4,700 personnel. Advanced equipment. Official mission: establish research bases. Map coastline. Test equipment in extreme conditions. But Byrd's personal diary, published after his death, describes something else. According to his account, during a flight over the South Pole, his plane's instruments malfunctioned. He saw green valleys, lakes, vegetation, mountains without snow, in Antarctica. He described flying into an opening, seeing a land beyond the ice, with advanced beings who communicated telepathically. They warned him about humanity's nuclear weapons, sent him back with a message. Most dismiss this as fiction, fabricated after Byrd's death, a hoax capitalizing on his fame. But here's what's documented. Operation High Jump was terminated early, officially due to adverse weather conditions and mechanical failures. But the expedition was equipped for harsh conditions. Why abort with months of supplies remaining? Byrd gave a press conference in Chile on his return. He made cryptic statements about land beyond the pole and resources that could ensure humanity's survival. Official transcripts exist, but the context was removed. In 1956, Byrd led another Antarctic expedition, Operation Deep Freeze. Again, he reported unusual findings. Again, official records are incomplete. What did Byrd find? If his diary is authentic, he discovered a hidden world beneath Antarctica. If it's fabricated, why did the Navy classify documents related to the expedition? Why were some records destroyed? Antarctica contains mysteries. Lake Vostok, a massive subglacial lake, wasn't confirmed until decades after Byrd. Thermal anomalies suggesting underground heat sources. Magnetic anomalies that disrupt instruments. Did Byrd stumble on something impossible? Or is this just legend built on incomplete records and speculation? Expedition Number 3. Theodore Roosevelt's River of Doubt, 1913 to 1914. Former President Theodore Roosevelt led an expedition down an unexplored tributary of the Amazon, the River of Doubt, now called Rio Roosevelt. The expedition nearly killed Roosevelt. Disease, starvation, hostile indigenous tribes. One team member murdered another. Roosevelt developed a leg infection that nearly killed him. He urged the team to leave him behind. They refused. But beyond the suffering, Roosevelt reported disturbing discoveries. Massive stone structures overgrown by jungle, clearly artificial, clearly ancient, but with no known culture to attribute them to. He described finding evidence of a sophisticated civilization, ruins of cities, pottery shards, stone tools of unusual design, and something more disturbing, skeletal remains of unusual size, much larger than normal humans. Roosevelt was a serious naturalist, curator of the American Museum of Natural History. His observations were trusted. Yet these findings were never officially documented. His expedition report omits them. Only personal letters mention these discoveries. Why? Roosevelt was dying from his injuries. Perhaps he hallucinated. Or perhaps what he found was too controversial for a former president to officially report. Giant skeletons, unknown civilizations, evidence challenging accepted history. The Roosevelt expedition also reported encounters with unknown creatures, not just undiscovered species, but creatures matching descriptions from indigenous legends, large predators, aquatic animals of enormous size, things that shouldn't exist. Other expeditions in the same region have found similar evidence. Stone ruins, unusual artifacts, reports of gigantic skeletal remains, all dismissed as misidentification or hoaxes. But Roosevelt wasn't seeking publicity. He nearly died in that jungle. Why would he fabricate discoveries? More likely, he found something real, something unexplainable, something that disappeared back into the jungle after he left. Expedition number 4. Nicholas Roerich's Asian Expedition, 1925 to 1928. Russian artist and mystic Nicholas Roerich led an expedition across Central Asia, officially to study art and culture. Unofficially, he was searching for Shambhala, the legendary hidden kingdom. Roerich's expedition covered 25 countries, crossed the Himalayas, explored Tibet, Mongolia, and Siberia. He documented his findings meticulously: paintings, journals, reports. Among his findings, evidence of ancient civilizations in the Gobi Desert, ruins suggesting advanced technology, underground complexes carved into mountains, descriptions of flying machines in ancient texts. But most disturbing, Roerich reported contact with unknown beings. He described them as masters, possessing advanced knowledge, living in hidden locations. They allegedly shared information with him about human history, about coming changes, about hidden wisdom. Mainstream historians dismiss Roerich as a mystic, his findings as spiritual fantasy, but he was accompanied by respected scientists. They corroborated his observations, at least the physical evidence. The expedition documented ruins in areas where no civilization supposedly existed, found artifacts of unusual sophistication, recorded legends consistent across thousands of miles, all suggesting knowledge we don't have in historical records. Roerich also reported UFO sightings, multiple witnesses, described a metallic disk observed for extended periods. This was 1927, before UFO became a common term, before flying saucer hysteria. His paintings from the expedition show strange objects in the sky, documented in his journals with dates and locations. Either he fabricated elaborate hoaxes, or he witnessed phenomena we can't explain. The Soviet government confiscated many of Roerich's findings. Some were returned decades later. Others remained classified or lost. What did they contain that required suppression? Roerich's expedition found something in Central Asia, evidence of ancient advanced civilizations, possible contact with unknown intelligence, and documentation that powerful governments wanted buried. Expedition number 5. James Churchward's Mew Discoveries. James Churchward claimed that while serving in India as a British Army officer, a temple priest showed him ancient tablets, written in a forgotten language. The priest taught Churchward to read them. According to Churchward, the tablets described Mu, a continent in the Pacific Ocean, home to an advanced civilization 64 million years ago, with 74 million people. They mastered energy manipulation, built great cities. Then the continent sank, leaving only Pacific islands as remnants. Churchward spent years searching for evidence. He traveled to Polynesia, Central America, India, Tibet. He found stone tablets, inscriptions, symbols matching those from the Indian temple, all describing Mu. He documented his findings in books, The Lost Continent of Mu, and sequels, with photographs of inscriptions, drawings of symbols, maps of where Mu supposedly existed. Mainstream scholars dismissed it entirely. No geological evidence supports a Pacific continent sinking in human history. The tablets he referenced either don't exist or are misinterpreted. But here's what's strange. Churchward documented symbols found across the Pacific, Easter Island, Hawaii, Polynesia, Central America, identical or similar symbols, suggesting some connection between cultures separated by thousands of miles of ocean. Modern genetics has proven that Polynesian seafarers did cross vast Pacific distances. They reached South America, shared plants and culture. So widespread ancient connections existed. Did Churchward find evidence of Mu? Probably not a continent that sank, but perhaps evidence of an earlier maritime civilization, one that spread across the Pacific before recorded history, one whose achievements were exaggerated into legend. His expeditions found real artifacts, real symbols, real connections. His interpretation may be wrong, but he found something that suggests our understanding of Pacific history is incomplete. Expedition number 6. Zecharia Sitchin's Sumerian Research. Zecharia Sitchin wasn't a traditional explorer. He was a scholar, but his research into Sumerian texts qualifies as an expedition into the ancient unknown. Sitchin claimed he could translate Sumerian cuneiform tablets that other scholars couldn't fully interpret. According to his translations, the Sumerians described the Anunnaki, beings from a planet called Nibiru, who came to Earth, created humans as workers, and taught civilization. His evidence: Sumerian texts describing advanced astronomical knowledge, accurate descriptions of outer planets, references to genetic engineering, stories of flying vehicles, technology that shouldn't exist 5,000 years ago. Sitchin's translations are disputed. Most Sumerian scholars say he mistranslated, that he saw what he wanted to see, that the tablets don't say what he claims, but some of Sitchin's observations are verifiable. The Sumerians did have sophisticated astronomical knowledge. They described Uranus and Neptune, planets not rediscovered until telescopes. They documented orbital periods with surprising accuracy. They also described events that match geological records, ancient floods, climate changes, catastrophes that modern science confirms happened. Did Sitchin correctly interpret evidence of ancient extraterrestrial contact? Almost certainly not. But did he find evidence that ancient Sumerians had knowledge they shouldn't have? That's harder to dismiss. His expeditions through ancient texts uncovered patterns, descriptions of technology, knowledge of astronomy, references to genetic concepts. Either the Sumerians were far more advanced than believed, or Sitchin misunderstood their poetic and mythological language. Expedition number 7. Jacques Cousteau's Cuban Underwater Structures. 2001. Advanced digital communications used side-scan sonar off the coast of Cuba. They detected unusual formations on the ocean floor. Geometric patterns, structures appearing artificial. Dr. Polina Zalitsky led the follow-up investigation, a marine engineer and ocean explorer. She worked with the Cuban government and National Geographic. Using a remotely operated vehicle, they captured images. The footage showed what appeared to be stone structures, regular geometric shapes, right angles, symmetrical arrangements, at a depth of over 600 meters, covering several square kilometers. If these are artificial, they're older than any known civilization. Sea levels were lower during the last ice age. For these structures to be on dry land, they date back 8,000 to 50,000 years. Before recorded history, mainstream archaeologists are skeptical. They argue the formations are natural, geological features that appear man-made but formed through natural processes. Without physical samples or closer examination, verification is impossible. but Dr. Zalitsky remained convinced. She compared the formations to known archaeological sites, found similarities to Mayan and Aztec architecture, but older, much older. Jacques Cousteau famously said, "The sea, once it casts its spell, holds one in its net of wonder forever." He explored countless underwater mysteries. While he didn't personally investigate the Cuban structures, his foundation has supported research into underwater archaeological sites. The Cuban structures remain uninvestigated. Political tensions between Cuba and the United States hindered research. Lack of funding, difficulty accessing the site. The structures sit on the ocean floor. Unexplored, unexplained. Did Zalitsky find an ancient civilization? An Atlantis-like city submerged when sea levels rose? Or are these just unusual geological formations that coincidentally look artificial? Without further exploration, we can't know. But the formations are real, they're documented, and they raise uncomfortable questions about what might be hidden beneath the oceans. Expedition number 8. Graham Hancock's Göbekli Tepe investigation. Graham Hancock is a controversial figure in archaeology. Not a trained archaeologist, but a journalist and researcher who's written extensively about lost civilizations. His expeditions to Göbekli Tepe in Turkey revealed something undeniable. This site predates agriculture. It's 11,600 years old, yet it shows sophisticated architecture, art, astronomical knowledge. Hancock argues this proves his theory, that an advanced civilization existed before the Ice Age. It was destroyed by cataclysm around 12,800 years ago. Survivors spread across the world, teaching primitive people, creating the first civilizations. Mainstream archaeology accepts Göbekli Tepe's importance. It forces reconsideration of when complex society emerged. But most archaeologists reject Hancock's broader claims. They see no evidence of a global advanced civilization. Hancock points to evidence worldwide. Megalithic structures on different continents sharing similarities. Flood myths across unconnected cultures. Astronomical alignments suggesting advanced knowledge. Genetic and linguistic patterns suggesting ancient migrations. His expeditions have documented real anomalies, things that don't fit standard historical timelines. Whether his interpretation is correct remains debated. But he's forced mainstream archaeologists to acknowledge that our understanding of early human history has significant gaps. Göbekli Tepe alone proves that Stone Age people were capable of far more than previously believed. They could organize labor, plan complex construction, encode knowledge in monuments, all before agriculture supposedly made such activities possible. Did Hancock find evidence of a lost advanced civilization? Or is he seeing patterns that aren't there? Either way, the sites he's investigated are real. The mysteries are legitimate, and our standard history books can't fully explain them. Expedition number 9. Livingstone's African Discoveries. 1800s. Dr. David Livingstone explored Africa as a medical missionary. He's famous for his travels, but some of his discoveries were quietly ignored. Livingstone reported finding evidence of ancient civilizations deep in Africa. Stone ruins, complex irrigation systems, mining operations, all in areas where historians claimed no advanced cultures existed. He also reported encounters with unknown creatures, descriptions matching dinosaur-like animals, in regions of the Congo. Locals confirmed the existence of these creatures, called them Mokla Mbembe. Most dismissed these as crocodiles or misidentified elephants, but Livingstone was a trained observer. His descriptions don't match known animals. They describe something reptilian, aquatic, large, with a long neck and tail. Later expeditions sought evidence. Some claimed photographic evidence. Others reported sonar readings of large unknown creatures in Congo lakes. Nothing definitive, but enough to suggest something unusual exists. Livingstone's other findings have been validated. Ancient African kingdoms were more sophisticated than Europeans acknowledged. Great Zimbabwe, the Kingdom of Congo, advanced societies predating European contact. But Livingstone also claimed finding evidence even older. Pre-Iron Age cities, stoneworks predating known African civilizations. These reports were filed away. Forgotten. Why? Because they didn't fit the narrative. Europeans wanted to believe Africa lacked advanced civilization. Evidence contradicting that was inconvenient. So it was ignored. Livingstone's expeditions found more than he was credited for. Evidence of ancient achievement. Possible unknown species. Discoveries that challenged assumptions. Discoveries that remain largely uninvestigated. Expedition number 10. Colonel Fawcett's mysterious documents. Returning to Percy Fawcett. His lost expedition continues to fascinate, but there's more to the story. Before his final expedition, Fawcett deposited documents with his family, with instructions they be opened only if he died or didn't return within a specified time. These documents allegedly contained maps, descriptions of ruins, details of what he'd found on previous expeditions, evidence he planned to use to locate the city of Z. When opened, the documents were incomplete. Some pages were missing. Others had sections redacted. Either Fawcett held back information or someone removed it after his death. What remained described ancient stone structures, artifacts of unusual sophistication, references to a culture predating known South American civilizations, and something more disturbing. Fawcett wrote about finding evidence of European contact with South America before Columbus. Portuguese or Irish monks possibly reaching Brazil centuries earlier. This is now accepted as possible, but at the time, it was heresy. He also mentioned finding objects that appeared technological, described as devices of unknown purpose, metal alloys that were analyzed and found to be unusual in composition. These items disappeared, either lost or confiscated. Multiple expeditions searched for Fawcett, found scattered remains attributed to him, found native tribes who claimed contact, but never found his lost city, never found his final discoveries. Recently, archaeologists have found extensive earthworks in the Amazon, exactly where Fawcett said ancient cities existed. LiDAR technology revealed them beneath jungle canopy, cities that once held thousands, connected by roads and canals. Fawcett was right. The Amazon held advanced civilizations. He found them, he documented them, and he disappeared seeking their greatest achievement. The city of Z. Did he find it? We may never know. But his expeditions proved that the impossible can be real, that explorers can find what science says doesn't exist, that the world holds mysteries still undiscovered.